a 3-inch gas line was broken, and the water line was 12 inches. Crews will work through the night. The street will definitely close for the morning commute. Possibly the afternoon, we just don't know at this point. But crews are moving in quickly to make the necessary repairs. The hole covers the south lane and into the curb lane and the middle lane, and the road is undermined in the left lane of the 3 eastbound lanes on Southeast Marine Drive. And it's absolutely incredible and so comforting to know that there were no injuries or nothing went into the hole.
In Oregon City, Oregon, this camel swallowed by a sinkhole. Moses in need of a rescue. It took a small army of sheriff's deputies, 2 fire engine companies, a hook and ladder truck, a battalion chief, all for a camel, a family pet that wandered away from a barn. The rescue taking hours. Along the way, Moses needed comforting. Rescuers needed to gather strength for the big moment.
Now, we're updating you this morning on a developing story unfolding in a Tampa neighborhood.
I can't believe this. This is just terrible.
You could hear the pop and an explosion, but you could feel it through your body. That's a car inside that hole. Those folks are talking about that massive sinkhole that opened up at a condominium complex. This morning, several families are now trying to figure out what they're going to do next. As you just saw, the sinkhole has already devoured 1 car, and officials fear that it could cause even more ground to give way.
In a sinkhole. This morning, crews are going to be repairing a water main break in Shadyside. Take a look at this for yourself. This was the scene overnight along Copeland Street. And only on 4, we talked to the unlucky man behind the wheel of this car.
Na kung tawagin ay balay ni Angtak. Aabot daw ang 175 talampakan ang lalim ng sinkhole. Sa sobrang laki nito, kakasya raw ang isang simbahan. Pinamumugaran ng mga paniki ang kuweba at sobrang dilim sa malaking bahagi nito.
There used to be a school playground here, now it's disappeared. This video's just emerged from China. It shows an 80-meter wide sinkhole in Hunan province. The buildings nearby, one of them a school, are also badly damaged. The ground started to yield at the beginning of this year, and the sinkhole's been growing ever since. But before rainy season, it was only 20 metres wide. Heavy rain made the hole expand dramatically, and this is what it looks like now. Families living nearby have been evacuated, and the authorities have given them a subsidy of around $44 US.
To make sure right decisions are made, the DEP's letter to the Solid Waste Management Department outlines what needs to be done to make sure the waste from the Southeast landfill in Lithia doesn't contaminate the groundwater. The DEP wants crews to take samples of water at different wells around the 3,300-acre site. Crews also are required to monitor stormwater and wells off-site on people's property, like Joseph Reeves.
I think I'm going to have it tested. Again, we had it tested several times. We get it every couple of years, we get it tested.
Reeves says even though he plans to test his own water, he believes, like the county, that the aquifer is okay. Michelle Van Dyke says the aquifer sits 130 feet below the surface. The sinkhole opened on a mound that's about 45 feet high. But because sinkholes can expand at any moment, the county says they'll continue to work with environmental experts to make sure that people like Reeves are safe.
Breaking news at 6:29 KTLA, first over the scene of a big sinkhole in Valley Village.
These are live pictures right now from Sky 5. A fire engine tipping into that sinkhole. We're going to go live to Alex in Sky 5, and it's been amazing to see the sun come up because now we're getting a better sense of actually what is happening here. And the truck just seems to be sinking and sinking further and further into that hole. Now, construction crews in Adams County have been trying to repair a 30-foot deep sinkhole.
The job's almost finished, but the hole has left some residents feeling anxious. As they said, Weinstock has more.
It is an incredible view for those looking into it. A 33-foot sinkhole on Oxford Road in Conewago Township near McSherrystown. But looking into it is a lot different than living next to it.
You could not see the bottom.
Just ask Katie McNew. She owns a duplex in a development a stone's throw away.
Still worried.
One reason are the cracks that have formed in a bathroom in her home, but her greatest fear involves her children.
Papa.
She worries about what may happen if a new sinkhole opens along Oxford Road.
What is her nightmare?
Driving and sinking into the ground with my children in the car.
The sinkhole has now been filled with tons of stone. The road is still closed until it can be paved. Township officials say the Adams County community is prone to sinkholes. In fact, 2 other sinkholes formed on the same road.
You don't have to go far to find sinkholes in Conewago Township. We're in a field just off the road, and this sinkhole is filled with water. And there's another sinkhole forming right beside it.
Unabated, sinkholes will continue to progress.
The sinkhole had opened up earlier in the week when police blocked off the intersection. But someone moved the cones, and a motorist drove right into the gaping hole early Saturday morning. The driver suffered only minor injuries, but hours later the car was still stuck inside the hole. Heavy rains drenched northwest Georgia and then moved into the metropolitan Atlanta area, dumping several inches and causing localized flooding. But forecasters said the end of the rain was in sight. The northwest corner of the state was heaviest hit, receiving 4 to 7 inches of rain.
I-24 shut down today when a giant hole opened up in the eastbound lane. It happened around 8 o'clock this morning, halfway between Chattanooga and Nashville, near mile marker 127. Tonight, we talk to the first man on the scene and give you an exclusive look inside the hole.
I didn't jump out and start stopping traffic.
David Shelton jumped into action when he spotted this giant hole at the foot of Monte Bell.
Pretty bad. It keeps getting bigger and bigger.
It happened
just inside the Grundy County line. The TDOT worker was driving a freight all on the way to a job when half the lane gave way under an 18-wheeler. The truck rocked up on two wheels and skidded to a stop.
We got two stops before they went in.
Lucky he did, because the hole was 25 feet deep and could easily swallow several compact cars.
We're real fortunate that nobody got hurt.
TDOT Assistant Chattanooga Region Director Ray Rucker says this is the biggest sinkhole he's seen on the interstate in his 40 years. Inside, you can see the rubble of the ruined interstate. The lines of pavement and dirt are clearly visible in the newly formed cavern, but the surrounding...
This is a huge sinkhole that happened in Nebraska by my wife's brother's house.
Look at how his house's yard caved in.
Yard, how it sunk down too. It's such a street right now. There's no way to drive across it. You can stop from the cars on top of the street.
Sewer line right there.
It wasn't that deep. They dug out all the old concrete and stuff. And it wasn't this far back. They dug it out bigger than it was.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Now there are holes in the road, and there are holes in the road. This is a hole in the residential area of Schmalkalden, a small town in Germany. It happened last night, forcing the authorities to evacuate the area. Its size, 40 meters by 15, some 20 meters deep. No one was hurt, but a few of these residents are going to have some problems backing their cars out of their garages.
And here's the scene tonight just outside of Montreal. A family of four missing after a huge sinkhole opened up and swallowed their home along with a nearby truck. Missing in the sinkhole are a mother, father, two children. Rescuers did find the family dog. And in China, a tiny village there having a huge sinkhole problem, 28 of them in just the last week. What's causing them is unclear, but a stone that gets thrown in seems to fall down there forever.
I want to pan over now to some of those engineers who have been on this scene all morning long. They are working hard to try to fill that sinkhole all morning long. Trucks filled with dirt have been coming and going, and all sorts of material is being dropped into what seems to be an endless hole. The heavy limestone being dropped into the massive sinkhole has a long way to travel, and engineers say they'll need at least 8 dump trucks full of sand to fill the gap that's been growing since Sunday. The sinkhole already swallowed a Toyota Camry, and cracks continue to spread.
We found common stair step cracking and vertical cracking, not only in this building, but the remaining 6 buildings in the clubhouse.
The unsettled soil means more than 10 condos at the Bordeaux villages have been evacuated, and for good reason, especially when our cameras captured the earth collapsing during a downpour yesterday. Even after engineers are done dropping dirt, rocks, and gravel into the sinkhole that's about 35 feet deep, there aren't any guarantees that the soil will stop shifting.
Our engineer is confident that hopefully by putting some of those soils in there, instead of the soils being pulled from the sides of the sinkhole, it'll pull the sands that we put down into it.
And back out here live, we're giving you a bird's eye view from Action Air 1 of those engineers busy at work trying to fill that sinkhole. Now, while the engineers work, the displaced families can only wait. And engineers tell me that they are confident the families will move back in soon, maybe within the next week or so.
Well, here's the hole. You can see the foundation piece here and where it's broke away. It's about, well, we measured it 7 feet from the bottom of that pit to where the ground meets, but there's nothing in between this. There's only a little board right in this area.
Get this on tape.
Right here.
This is what LP Field, home of the Tennessee Titans, looked like in May, when the stadium and much of the city was underwater. Now the sidewalk just outside the stadium has started to buckle.
You know that we're on the bank of the Cumberland, so you would expect some type of erosion, but not a sinkhole such as this.
The sidewalk started to shift a few weeks after the flooding, and the sinkhole is now about 5 to 6 feet deep and about 30 feet wide.
We weren't expecting it to happen here, but when it did, it wasn't a big surprise.
The sinkhole is near a pumping station at the stadium. So far, there hasn't been any other problem in the ground around the stadium. The city's mayor says the sinkhole will be repaired well before football season
And this
starts.
is just one of the many sinkholes around the state from the floodwaters. Eyewitness News in East Providence on Vanderland Avenue, where neighbors tell us they're worried that sinkhole is growing. And if you're worried about a sinkhole in your neighborhood, you're urged to call your local Department of Public Works.
Gully washing rainfalls have made sinkholes a big problem on highways and streets, and that was certainly the case in one Tulsa area neighborhood. What made things worse, residents say, was that they couldn't get it repaired. Here's 2 News problem solver Pete News.
In a neighborhood just outside the Tulsa city limits in Turley, horses roam the fields and kids play freely. Some folks here are afraid for them and vehicles because of this sinkhole.
You can look underneath there a little bit. See, it's going up underneath the street.
Janet says the sinkhole was growing bigger and deeper day by day. She says they were told a leak in a sewer line was causing it. Crews put up this barricade to keep people away. But as days turned into weeks and the sinkhole started eroding the dirt under the street, neighbors became more fearful and concerned about the potential caving danger.
Cherry Street to work, you may want to go another way. Late last night, a giant crater opened up 15th Street at Quincy near Marquette School. City work crews have the eastbound lanes at 15th blocked off. Right now, we are not exactly sure what caused the roadway to cave in.
Well, the blizzards of 2010, certainly a thing of the past, but the impact is still being felt in one northeast Baltimore neighborhood. A large sinkhole has opened up in one woman's backyard. 11 News reporter John Sherman has been following that story. He joins us live tonight from downtown with more. John?
Well, Marian, tonight it's clear the city will not be paying for this repair, but the homeowner is wondering why she pays ground rent if she still has all the liability for the ground. We first met Deborah Pearson back in late February, this mammoth sinkhole opening under the weight of all that snow. She had questions then about safety and liability, and those same questions remain today.
And heavy rainfall is being blamed for this 34-foot sinkhole in Kansas City, Missouri. A key highway ramp is closed, causing all kinds of problems for this morning's commute.
Georgia drive-thru has become a drive-by attraction. Intense rain is being blamed for a sinkhole that has swallowed part of this Sonic restaurant in Cleveland. The restaurant's manager grabbed her cell phone camera as the storefront collapsed into the 100-foot-long hole.
You just see it slowly going down. You hear the creaking sound. The water just kept building. It was just like inches. It was just unreal.
3 inches of rain fell in just 1 hour, causing a drainage pipe to fail and sending water gushing through the concrete and asphalt. All of the customers made it out safely before the ground gave out.
Would have been a bad feeling to have been sitting at one of the outside tables munching on a hamburger and fries, and then it collapsed underneath you.
A nearby car wash also suffered damage. Local officials say it's all up to the insurance companies now.
Proposed a bill to limit a homeowner's maximum recovery for sinkhole damage to just 25% of the home's insured value. That bill has since been shelved. Paul says many of his neighbors are concerned about their property values.
Yeah, well, it's down pretty low now anyway, so I don't know if it can hurt this type of floor. But
this is a great opportunity for you to see how deep this hole really is. And even on the back side of it, it appears that it's even getting larger. Now, with that in mind, the family that lives right next door, they've been asked to leave, and it's unclear when they'll be able to come back home.
Infrastructure, a massive sinkhole swallows a We Energies truck. Our Beverly Taylor shows you what happened.
There are times when you get that sinking feeling. Well, the driver of this We Energies truck really felt it. 1 minute on solid ground, the next, feeling his truck suddenly drop.
Yeah, he's a little bit shaken up, as anybody would be, but he wasn't injured, so that's fortunate.
It happened near 27th in Wisconsin, right in front of the mobile gas station, and the owner saw it.
There was a lot of customer, I was busy, and I just heard a voice. I said, oh my God, what happened?
The back passenger side tire just fell through the road. The question
experiencing
is
sinkholes. We're now on Southwest 42nd Street at the 5200 block. We have barricaded the roadway with Public Works for the safety of vehicular traffic in the roadway.
At about 10:30 this morning, my daughter-in-law, Michelle Morano, was doing her walks around the clubhouse, and she called me and said that there was a sinkhole that started to break off to the right of the roadway in the direction she was walking. About 10:58, she called me back again and said a tree now fell in the sinkhole and the sidewalk began to collapse at just about 11 o'clock today. And it's eroding as we speak right now. Another piece just dropped off. That the roadway was now becoming compromised because it had connected through the walking path to the roadway. And that's where we stand right now.